Okay.
Hello, I'm Nicole Gangloff, and I'm so delighted to have our guest speaker, Lee Coit, here today with us. And I can't wait to have a beautiful conversation with you, Lee. So welcome to our conference.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are so delighted. So, last night I couldn't sleep. I don't know why. Actually, I may know why. I had been laying in bed with my partner, and I started to read him a little bit out of your book Awakening, and I was so inspired. After that, he fell asleep, and he said, "I want to meet this guy. I would love to meet him. I would love to give him our chocolate." And I said, I think there might be a possibility to do that, since we are very close here in the same area in Ventura. So who knows? We might just visit you and bring you some chocolate and have a nice, lovely afternoon. And
well, you know, it does. You should be careful. You look at the title of the book. You wouldn't want to read a book called Awakening if you were trying to sleep.
I thought that was really not the smartest thing. But at some point I was laughing out loud, and I don't know if I quote you exactly, but there was one sentence where you wrote, "I think I'm a stripper at heart," and I was just bursting out loud. And it was when you described that you get really naked with people, that you get really real and naked with people.
Well, yeah, I don't like fancy. I think I mean, I don't mind it once in a while, but I like things fairly simple and direct. And um, I think you need, as a writer, I like to take complicated ideas and reduce them to the simplest thing. You know, I had can I diverge here for a minute?
Absolutely.
I have at the time I was doing a lot of traveling, I went to an ashram in Switzerland, of all places, called Schwalbenalp. And it's way up in the mountains above Interlaken. Beautiful location. And I became friends with the fellow there. And I gave talks there, and I did some of their meditations. They do all-night meditations when you're sitting with your legs crossed. I never thought I could do it, but I did it. But anyway, in one of the meditations, I had this amazing experience. I saw myself, and it was part of leading a meditation, and I say to people, that I'm going to take them to heaven. And I describe how we're walking up there and walking above the earth and through the clouds, and we finally get to heaven. And I said, the only thing that's required to get into heaven is that you must not have any preconceived idea of what's on the other side of these gates. And with that, I start trying to help people open the gates. And, you know, if I feel some resistance, I do some more meditative leading. But what happened was, all of a sudden, I popped through the gates. I wasn't expecting it. And when I got through the gates, I was a stick figure. Just a little, you know, like a child drawing. I had a cane. I kind of had a tall hat. And I was walking up the mountains, and it was a Swiss scenery, but it was everything was childlike drawings, stick figure drawings. And I was reticent. I said, well, I don't want to be one-dimensional. I'm three-dimensional. I like being three-dimensional. And they kept hearing, no, come on, it's okay. Come on in. Allow yourself to be this stick figure. So I did, and I walked up the mountain, and I was walking up to this cabin. And as I stood there looking out across the valley, everything started rotating, and it rotated down until it went into a single dot. And I just looked at that dot and I realized how powerful it was, that that dot could literally create everything. I can't explain that to you. It was just that I knew it in this meditation. I knew it beyond a doubt. And I said, what is this dot? I mean, I can feel the power of it, but what is it? And my inner guide said, ask. They knew this fellow was coming to the ashram who was a Sufi. He said, ask him when he comes. So when he got there, I asked him if I could ask him a question, and he looked at me and he said, yes, but you have to come with me. So we walked over to this stream, and in that part of the world, the streams are they're coming right out of the glaciers, and the stream was just roaring down through this narrow passage with these rocks. And he took all his clothes off. He's a little frail man, and he walked out. It was holding onto these rocks to keep from getting swept downstream, and he motioned for me to come in, and I told him, no, I think I'll just wait for you to finish. And so he did what he was doing, bathed himself, came back out and said to me, now I'm ready. Tell me what you saw. Now, I knew he knew much more than he was saying, but I told him the story, and his eyes just got huge, and he said, you have come as close as you will ever come to seeing the divine. In the Sufi religion and many others, we have no name for it. And we don't write it. We just make a symbol of a dot. And that was, when he told me that, I could understand what that was all about. And he said to me, why would you think things get more complicated? And that's stuck with me for all my life. Because I think part of what we do in life is we make everything so complicated. And it doesn't have to be. Oops, I lost.
Yes, but I was so.
Well, my computer went along with it. It made a dot too.
And I thought, oh, this is so funny. Like you're talking about simplicity.
Oh, that happens to me a lot.
And now we can't see you anymore. But I didn't want to interrupt you because you were in such a beautiful.
Oh.
So
yes.
that was a lesson.
That's kind of been my mantra, to seek the simple, to seek the power behind the thing, to stop looking so much at form and to see what's behind the form. And matter of fact, one other thing, and I'll stop with this. And I don't want people to get the idea that you have to have these experiences or that this is something special. It's just, I'm just relating what has happened to me, and each of us, have our own individual experiences, and then they shouldn't be like anybody else's. They're not meant to be. We're here, we've decided to individualize, and as such, that's really our path back, is to follow our individuality and to allow that to lead us back. We've separated, and it's like a puzzle. It has to be put together, and it's put together piece by piece, not making all the pieces the same.
Yeah, and this is where the trust comes in, right? And really trusting your inner voice and your inner guidance. And what I find, so, our conference is called Awaken to Love. And what really was, it was very touching and very moving for me your book Awakening is actually about the search for the perfect partner, the perfect woman who will then, make you whole. And this is and you describe it also, it's a very human desire, right? Since we are love, we have this desire for love, and
Yes.
And so you describe how, yeah, you describe this quest, and also with very simple, with a simple approach of where you say, yeah, you're like, I can read and learn all the stuff, but if I don't have an experience, I have no references, right?
I think that's part of my sort of shying away from the concept of lessons and learning, because it really isn't learning. It's experiencing.
Yes.
And takes on, if I read it and I understand what it's saying, that's enough. And it's not. I have to experience it. I have to bring it in, make it my own in my own way. And that's so often missing, particularly when we get into religious groups and religious dogma and that type of thing. And I'm not against it. In fact, people that have uh, have resistance to maybe their childhood religion or something, I often hear to suggest to them that they go back and make peace with that. That was part of their life and it has a purpose. It need not be a negative thing, but we still have to do it ourselves. We can't look at a group as a way to make progress, because it's such an easy. We all, when you're in a group, we have the same language. We agree on the same concepts, and it's a very convenient thing. And it keeps us from having the individual experience, which is the vital part, because we all kind of know something, together. We know this secret that nobody else knows, so we think we've got something. And what's really important is that we experience it, not just read it, not just be able to recite it or play it back to somebody. Um, you know.
Yeah,
Sorry, I got off the topic there.
Yeah, you wrote in your book in the beginning, stepping back, and you're like to really have like a tool, very simple, very practical tool, like whenever something is happening that is upsetting, or like creating any sort of separation where you feel disturbed, where your peace is disturbed. Really it's so simple, like step back, what is really happening here? Ask yourself the question, what is happening here? And
Right.
this is so powerful. What is happening here?
Yes. Yeah. Truth. Well, truth love cannot exist without truth. They're interdependent, and we have to be seeking the truth as well.
So what was there a time? I remember we have met before in Ventura in the harbor, and had a lovely time together, and I dearly remember that meeting with you. And what stuck with me was something that you said that really went deep into my heart. It was, we can't screw up. It's like, and that was like, I that really went right into my heart. This, could you
Oh,
say a little bit about, that we can't screw up? I think you shared a beautiful story with me where you thought, oh, I really overdrew this line here, and oh my God, you're like, that was really a little bit too far. It was just like for, it's very personal. But what is your experience with we can't screw up?
I don't even remember saying. That's the trouble. That most of what comes out when we do these kind of things, I'm not aware of it. In fact, after I've given talks, many people come up and say, I said this or I said that, and I have no recollection of ever saying it. I'm trying to be a clear channel and not get my own personal, other than as an example into it. So I don't know. I have no recollection of that at all.
I
I'm
think
so
I think
sorry.
it was a